What do you think your current tax rate is? We're going to explain all that to you, and it's going to be quite an eye opener. Stay tuned.
From Philadelphia, the home of the Liberty Bell, Financial Freedom Radio starts now. Here's your host, Raymond Jewell.
So, what do you think your current tax rate is? You're going to be shocked when we go through this. It's not what you think it is, and it's going to be quite an eye opener. I want to thank you all for coming and downloading and watching the show, financialfreedomradio.com. Um, Go to financialfreedomradio.com or youtube.com/financialfreedomradio and click on the bell, and it'll give you information when we go to load a show. So you'll be able to get firsthand what we're going to do with the shows, and you're going to be able to get on the link and watch it. Um, so how you doing, Steve? Producer Steve, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good, Ray. How are you? It's always fun listening to you try to explain that YouTube thing, and then you just kind of peter out there at the end. You'll get the information. And hey, Steve, how are you?
Well, well, you know what? I get through it.
You
That's the
do.
whole goal.
You
I'm
do.
not a professional at this. I'm doing this because we we want to inform people about various things uh, differently about looking at their finance, and so I'm not I'm stumbling through it just like
I think
anybody else.
I think you're doing
At
great.
least I'm doing it.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
So I gave you an assignment.
You did.
We were talking on the phone, and I said to Steve, I said, I want you to calculate in your mind all the taxes you think you pay.
Yep.
And so we did that. And what do we come up with, Steve?
Well, I didn't come up with very many because you kind of caught me off the spot. But then as you started rattling off other ones, I'm like, yep, yep, yep. And it was pretty astounding how many variety of taxes we actually pay.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, it it's an eye opener.
It is.
Um, what the tax? What's our tax rate now? I think it's at the low end. The low end's at zero, but obviously, but then it goes 10, 15, 20. It's something, but
I don't know.
uh,
I just think about a third is where I start shooting at a third,
yeah. Well, you'd be halfway right
probably. I'm sure
because
it's more.
let's let's talk about the taxes, and it'd be great if you could do a split screen on it with you in here because I want to see your reaction as I go through it, but maybe we can't. Um, there you are. Yes, we can. So when you look at the taxes, we've got federal taxes, right?
Right?
So the
Which I think
federal
they call
taxes,
FICA, don't they?
no, that's Social Security.
I thought Social Security was Social
That's
Security.
Fed. No, FICA is your Social Security insurance.
Okay.
Uh, but your federal tax is one number. That could be, depending on your income, anywhere from 10 from zero actually, but 10% maybe up to 20 some percent, depending
Right?
on what you're earning and how you pay your taxes and deductions and all of that. So let's say that's 20
Okay.
for what do you call it? Shits and giggles.
Okay.
Um,
It's a family friendly
then
show.
we've
I
got
wouldn't say that, but okay.
then we've got FICA,
Which is Social
which
Security.
is which you if you're self-employed, you pay 15% roughly because you pay for your share and your employer's share. If you're not self-employed, you're contributing, I think, 7.5%, whatever the fractions are, and then your employer matches that. You know that, right?
I know that now. Yes.
Okay. So that's 15%. So what are we up to now? What's our total?
35.
35. Okay. Then we take local tax. Now, I don't know about you in Delaware because I know in Delaware you have no state tax,
We have no sales tax.
sales tax, right? But you have a state income tax, right?
Correct.
And what is that?
I have no idea.
Let's
You,
assume that's
you're
3%.
assuming I'm on top of all of this. I'm not. I just pay
No,
it.
but you're an average person just like everybody else.
Who is not on
And
top of it like
so
you are?
so let's assume that that's 3%,
Okay.
2 to 3%. What are we up to now?
38%.
38%. Now, let's look, and you're
But
free
now,
of
hang on.
this.
Remember some. Okay, state tax. That's right. I was thinking sales tax. Yes, 38%.
You're free of the local tax, which is the sales tax.
Right.
Here in Naples, Florida, it's 7%.
Okay.
They want to raise it. It actually was at 6, but then we raised it to they raised it to 7 for, it's got a sunset law that is supposed to go away at a certain point, and you and I both know when these things are supposed to go away, they don't always go away.
Right. Temporary is permanent.
So
I got it.
that's right. Yeah. So
But
we've
my
got
nearest state, just so you know,
seven.
my nearest state, which is where we do most of our shopping, is Maryland, and that's 6%. So we do. I am subject to it when I'm buying in Maryland.
Okay. Now that's not like a federal tax, that's a consumption tax.
Right.
So the 6% that you're talking about in Maryland and the 7% I'm talking about down here is is whenever you spend money. But
If
what do
you
we
never spend
spend? We
money, you don't
spend
pay
our
it.
income.
Right.
Well, what do we spend? We spend our income. What is the federal government tax? They tax our income. So we're paying a tax on the whole amount. It's just that we do it as we consume on the local end.
Right.
But we still have the state tax to deal with. Now, Florida does not have a state tax. So, but it's got consumption tax.
Then
So
there's
we pay
gas
a sales
tax.
tax. I haven't got there yet.
Oh,
Your
you
brain's starting to turn. You're
you
coming up
told
with
me to
these
do homework.
taxes.
I'm telling you what I did.
I've unleashed the beast.
The
So,
beast. It's depressing.
so yeah. So now we're probably 40%.
Easily.
Okay. When I bought my motorhome, it was a 6% tax.
Is that
That
a
was
luxury
huge.
tax?
No, it was just sales tax.
Oh, it was just a sales tax.
Now in Pennsylvania, they had certain taxes that they would alleviate on certain consumption items. I think clothing is one they don't tax.
Clothing and groceries, I think, is Maryland.
Right. So the consumption tax is even worse. Now, tolls.
Tolls on the toll road. Yep.
The East Coast is loaded with tolls. Every time you move your car on a major highway, you're going to pay a toll.
Is it just an East Coast thing? I thought it was all over the place.
Well, no, I'm just saying they've got a lot of tolls, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Hmm.
Down here, they call it Sun Pass, but you got to pay the tolls uh, like if I drive from Naples to Fort Lauderdale, I go across Alligator Alley. That's a toll,
Yeah.
and it's something like $3.50.
And up
It's
here,
huge.
we have one major toll road that's Route One, and they change the tolls on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's like $1 Monday through Thursday, but Friday through Sunday it's $3. one way. So if you go up and come back, it's a total of $6 on Friday, and the day before it was $2.
Yeah, I'm paying $7 to go across to Fort Lauderdale and back.
That's round trip, 350 each way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can't add that up.
no,
But when you look at the first group of them, you're up around 50%.
yeah, you're
Then
starting to
you
see the
got
trend.
then you got gas tax, you got cigarette tax, you've got all sorts of
Personal
taxes.
property tax.
That's another one. Now, I didn't talk about property tax yet on your house.
No, no,
Does
no, no,
Delaware
no,
charge
not
that?
not property tax. Personal property tax. When we lived in
Oh, yeah.
Virginia,
Well, that,
when we lived in Virginia, if you had a car or a boat or anything like that, you had to pay a personal property tax in addition to your
yes,
land property tax.
yes, yes. And on top of the property, the personal property tax, um, they would charge you a tax. You pay taxes on your property, your house, depending on the value of your house, depending on the the value of the land and whatever it is,
Right.
you got to pay for that.
Yep.
So when we look at all these taxes, if we were to add them together, you would be up around 50 to 60%.
I believe that's probably true.
So when the government says that we are one of the lowest tax countries, we're not. Even when President Trump brought down the taxes, he made it easier. Now, when let's talk about gas tax. This is the big one. Gas tax is up. Well, it hadn't quite doubled yet, but it was under $2 a gallon for regular. But now it's up to close it's probably it's doubled. So whenever something doubles, it's 100% growth, isn't it?
Yep.
So gasoline has doubled since the new administration has been in.
Gas tax, not gasoline.
Well, it's the tax. You can't figure it out because when you go to different jurisdictions, it's different.
We haven't
And
gone
I don't know
from
how that fits.
$2 a gallon to $4 a gallon yet.
When I was looking at when I saw it, I was getting gasoline at under $2 a gallon.
Yeah, but barely. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
Barely, you're right. And it's probably about 285 right now.
Right. I would agree with a 50% increase, but I wouldn't say a double up.
It's probably a little more, but I'll give you 50%. So every time gas prices go down, consumer gets a raise, right?
Yeah.
So when every time gas prices go up, the consumer loses money.
Yep.
Any change in taxes impacts the consumer,
Yep.
the individual out trying to earn a living. So the whole purpose of this exercise is to talk about the taxes and what they really are instead of what we think they are.
Well,
And
you're
so
conditioned to
this,
believe that they're one thing, and I think this kind of speaks to what you said before, where we say we're one of the lowest tax because we are told this is your tax rate, and therefore we're one of the lowest tax. But that's only like a small piece of the overall picture. If you looked at the picture from a holistic point of view, that 20% or 30% you think you're being taxed at is not all you're being taxed at. The rest of it's just hidden and not talked about, and therefore it's not it does if you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist.
right,
Yep.
right. So
So where are you
the
going with
point
this?
here is, well, the consumer is kind of losing money now.
Right.
When these politicians say that they're going to uh, they're going to make it easier for the middle class. Who's taking it on the chin? The middle class, because the lower class people don't pay taxes. They'll pay the other taxes that we talked about, but they don't pay the federal tax, and they get away with that if they're working. But the main thing is that it's important to open people's eyes to what they really are paying in taxes.
It's important to
I don't
understand
think
all of
people
it.
know that.
Right.
Well, I don't think people know that. I don't think they understand what they're paying in taxes and the impact it has on their life. So what you're going to see now are people that are their lifestyles are going to start to diminish now. And there's going to be an erosion of the middle class again
Yep.
because they're just not going to be able to make it. And it's back to that. And it's just a shame. So what people want to do is become more efficient. If you remember a few episodes ago, I talked about holes in the bucket. If you were to put water into the bucket and you had holes in it, the water would leak out. But you know how much force you need to push behind that water to maintain a level. So you have a force going into the bucket from the spigot and you maintain a level. Well, it's the same in our financial world. We have holes in a bucket, which are all these taxes, and then you get into other things like lost opportunity cost. Inflation is another tax. When inflation goes up, our earnings and our spendability goes down, doesn't it?
Yes.
As little as it is. So when you put water into that bucket, or you're putting money into that bucket, and the holes are in that bucket, you have to work real hard to maintain a lifestyle. And that's the flow into the bucket. And if the holes get bigger, the lifestyle goes down, or you got to work harder. So that's why when taxes go up, people tend to gravitate to small businesses, to the business you're in with your arbitrage
Arbitrage.
business. So the point of it is to let people know what is impacting their life. If you're patching the holes in the bucket, then your lifestyle gets better. And in the analogy of the water, when you patch the holes in a bucket, a trickle fills it. So you have more money. And the process we teach our clients, is to how to patch those holes in the bucket and live a better life. But this is just an eye opener to let people know where these holes in the bucket are.
Yeah,
And we
and
didn't even delve into inflation.
and I'm going to give a shameless plug here for my Facebook page that I put together, Income Hackers. If you go to facebook.com/income hackers, shameless plug. Um, a lot of what we talk about there is this type of thing, and that is, if like you said, if the gas prices goes up, you're losing income. If the gas prices go down, you're gaining income. So you always have to. The first step is what you said, being aware of where the money is leaving your life and what steps you can take to replace that money, because sometimes extra income, like you said, is not about getting a second job. It's just being more efficient with the money that you have, and that's kind of what we talk about there, and a lot of that came from your teachings. So yeah, it's important, and a lot of people don't really pay attention to the the money that's leaving their lives because they're oblivious to it. They focus on their job, they come home, they watch their television, they eat their dinner, they go to sleep, they repeat the whole cycle. If you don't start paying attention to where your money is going, it's just going to keep disappearing because there are other people watching your money if you are not.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
And financial institutions are getting it, and that's a whole other discussion that we've had before, but I think I want to elaborate on it next week.
Okay.
Use and growth simultaneously, because how do you use it and grow it at the same time? Your business allows you to do that,
It can be done.
and there's other ways that you can do it too. But another thing is to go to whythericharegich.com and download that book that I wrote, because that book is clear as to how to beat these uh, beat these financial institutions and planners and all that, because no financial planner on the planet is ever going to teach you how to patch those holes in the bucket,
Nope,
because I don't think they truly know.
they don't.
So thanks for letting me keep you here, Steve, and
You're welcome.
it was a great contribution. We're going to wrap this up. I hope it was valuable. If you want more information, go to financialfreedomradio.com and you can replay this. There's a whole bunch of information. I think we put transcripts up of the show every week. You can read those and go back and read some of the earlier ones, or you go to youtube.com/financial freedom radio. So I want to thank you all for coming and listening. And at the end, we'll have a plug for the book that you can download for free and read it. So I want to thank you all for coming, listening, and downloading. And we'll see you back here next week, financialfreedomradio.com. Take care. God bless.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast. If you want to learn how to create real sustainable wealth like the extremely rich people do, or maybe you just want to sustain the wealth you already have, you need to check out Dr. Ray's new book, Why the Rich Are Rich. Ray's been coaching clients for 35 years and has completely unlocked the secret strategies that rich people use day in and day out to grow and sustain their wealth, regardless of what's going on in the economy. His book is completely free, and you can get it by going to whythericharerich.com and entering your email address. Again, that's whythericharerich.com. Head over there now.